Hello, gentle viewers, and welcome back. This is Un, and this is Princess Crown, and we are gonna kick this episode off with a fish break. Yummy. Well, now that we're done with our fish, we're done with the town of Cotabato, and we are going to depart from the northern merchant district toward Leland. Yes, we finally have a route to Leland, site of the last request from the petitioners in the castle at the beginning of the game. As you may recall, in Leland they're having a little bit of a pirate problem. Specifically, they are being terrorized by the pirate leader, Portgas. So we'll go see if we can't help the citizens of Leland out. But first, of course, we're going to have to get through this centaur. And I always feel bad about knocking them down with the way they wipe a tear away afterward. Also, holy shit, was that a 5-shot? That is an impressive feat of archery. Whoa, is he just trying to lariat us? Stan Hansen Jr. here. Moving right along. What we have here is a barbarian, like so many others, but I left this fight in because there is a new item, or at least I believe we haven't run into it before. If I've just forgotten, then I do apologize. And I will set to knocking that out of him as soon as I can stop getting my ass kicked here. No, not the soup dust. There we go. That M8 is a magnitude 8 scroll, and what that translates to in practice is a boulder on the noggin. Just another one-shot attack scroll, but it's good for taking out a barbarian, and it's good for a level. Now then, we shouldn't have any further interruptions on our way to Leland. And we're there. This seems like a perfectly pleasant sort of seaside town. And it has a pub, which means we're going to have to stop, because we do want that reward for ordering all of the local specials. And of course, the extra boost to our max HP never hurts either. And it's fish, appropriate enough for a port town. And while we're here, since we don't have a skillet, might as well get our other fish cooked. A little bit expensive for a bring-your-own-food proposition, but again, we don't have anything to cook with, so it's the best we can do for the moment. And this is like the seafood equivalent of one of those places where you throw your peanut shells on the floor. There's an interesting looking guy. Doesn't have anything interesting to say, though. And the Leland shop is not very interesting either. That's the end of Leland. No sign of Portgas so far, so we'd better go check out the docks. Hey, party time. Well, it looks like we are the 10,000th visitor to the Free Dolphin, which is the ship behind us, and that entitles us to a free trip. We are now aboard the Free Dolphin, and can have a little chat with the sailors, who are obvious head swaps of the bandits. This is a couple from the town of Nelt, who are voyaging on the Free Dolphin for their honeymoon. And finally, it's that tall guy from town. He politely introduces himself as Parsons. And no sooner do we make Parsons' acquaintance than the ship is being overrun by pirates. Can never have a free cruise in peace around here. And it seems that everyone is being taken prisoner and being shanghaied off to Pirate Island. Well, apparently this big bastard is Portgas himself. And he is going to imprison everyone in his secret hideout. Parsons is like, "Oh yeah, the secret hideout that's 100 nautical miles east of Leland?" Portgas is rather impressed with his knowledge, but says that knowledge will die with him. Parsons seems a little skeptical about the whole thing, and knows that Portgas is usually seen with a bird named Drake. So, where the hell's the bird? So Parsons calls Drake himself. Whips off his boot, reveals a peg leg, and what do you know, Parsons is the real Portgas. Apparently he's not such a bad guy. Well, it looks like the big fella is one Captain Big Hook, who has been doing evil deeds in Portgas' name. So now Portgas and Gradriel are going to team up and search the cave and try and find all the captives. And you know what that means? It means a new dungeon. Portgas just kind of goes off and does his own thing, so we'll be on our own here. Here we have our first encounter with pirates. As you can see, they look exactly like the bandits, and for most purposes they are functionally the same as the bandits too. But they do have one ability that the bandits could not call upon. I believe we'll be seeing that shortly. Ah, there it is. The active pirate can call for the inactive one to break out a cannon and rain down cannonballs on you. And as you can see right here, they can spam it pretty much at will. Although they rarely do, thankfully. Good lord, enough with the cannon. Right to the melon. Both pirates do have to be operational for the cannon attack, because it takes one to call for it and the other to actually bring it out. So from here on, it's the same as a bandit fight. Moving right along. No, other way. Now what I meant to do was go through that sort of vertical shaped passage a while back, but while I'm being confused, might as well check out the treasure. And we don't need to see more of that. These pirates do like their fruitcake. Well, I like their fruitcake too. Now then, those skinny, vertically oriented passageways are paths between blocks on the map, so we should be off in the lower right now. Yep, there we go. A cave being guarded by pirates. This could be significant. And since this is a scripted battle, we'll go ahead and see this one through. As slow as their sword strikes look, they can combo you surprisingly well. At least the short guy can. The tall guy seems to be a little slower on the draw. Doink! That's one down. And that's two. And here it looks like we found the holding cell for the sailors from the Free Dolphin. Having them back on the ship will certainly be helpful to get back home. Now we just have to find the honeymooners. And they should be in the block just above us on the map, so we'll need to head up a floor and then over to the right. Some shitty treasure in this dungeon. I don't know if it's possible to run into any encounters other than pirates in this dungeon, but I certainly didn't. And I guess that makes sense. It is a pirate hideout. And we come upon another guarded cavern entrance, and that can only mean there are more captives therein, or at least something of value. And that in turn means another piratical ass-kicking. I completely missed the holy water here, but you can at least see it in action. Just kind of flares up Belmont style. And that's another technical mid-boss down. It is indeed the honeymoon couple. And they can get themselves out of here apparently, so that should take care of everyone who was kidnapped. Let's just warp back to the entrance to the cave. Ariel thinks we should get out of here, but Gradriel's concerned that she hasn't seen Portgas. Well, no time to worry about that, because Captain Big Hook has apparently caught up with us, and blow! Damn it, kidnapped again. And laugh, laugh, bluster, bluster, threaten, threaten. Until Portgas to the rescue! Apparently he's been taking lessons from Charlotte of Samurai Showdown fame. Well, while Portgas is taking care of the other pirates, it is time for our showdown with Captain Big Fook? Oh, Romanization. Captain Big Hook is a little bit tougher than your average random encounter, but he's not too bad, and he has some pretty funny animations. I also like his yells when he gets hit. Boink. And yes, when he knocks you down, he can just kind of roll your ass over. And he can consume an attack potion from time to time. So you'll want to have a bit of a care when he's just sucked down one of those, because he'll be able to hit harder. I can't help but be amused at how you repeatedly chop him in half, and it just doesn't seem to really stick very much. Yeah, no more attack potion for you. It's a hell of an elbow he's got. Well, we have successfully driven off Captain Big Hook, and it appears that peace, relatively speaking, will finally come back to the town of Leland. Well, now that Leland has had its pirate infestation cleared out, that's where we just were. We now have a route back to the castle, but having just done the boss fight, it seems like a good time to stop for a rest up and a save game. Ariel's just noting here that she has in fact completed the 3 quests given to her in the beginning. And it's time to return to the castle. Not too much happens on the way back to the castle, but you will note that we can now run into tarantulas as a random encounter. And they still like to drop fish. God, those things are ugly. Those pedipalps just bother me. Like, big wobbly jowls. Really having some accuracy problems here. Well, also on the way to the castle, we encounter another pack of goblins, which seems very pedestrian for this stage in the game. But these guys are at a higher level than we've seen before, and they have a few new tricks in their bag. there's one of their new attacks. They can rush you with a whistle, and if the whistle charge connects, they'll just gangbang you. There it is. Also, they can grab you and pull items out of your inventory, and so then you have to try and recover them before the typical item removal goblins show up and take them away. I want my toast back. There we go. And hey, we've got a pan again. That means I can at least attempt to cook up the fish that I've been carting around since that tarantula battle. That's one success. Good job, Ariel. We have now returned to Invading town, where we can catch our breath and partake with some more fish. And back to the castle we go. The guardsman at Invading Castle says Justin has been waiting for us, so we'll head on back and have a chat with the old wizard. Gradriel's sorry about worrying everyone back at the castle, and Justin says we can deal with that later. More importantly, Gradriel's sister Ariel has vanished. And this guy from the Cardo Knights says that Sir Quain has just returned with news about the search for Ariel. Apparently Ariel was seen near the tower in the nearby Black Forest. However, Quain and his men kind of got their shit kicked in by a red-headed sorceress who was protecting the tower. Well, that sounds familiar to Gradriel, so she resolves to go fight the sorceress. And Justin says, I can't let you go alone, I'll come along with you. But Gradriel wants him to stay behind and protect the castle. Justin has a problem with this, but being the heiress to the throne, Gradriel pulls rank, and Quain warns Gradriel that the sorceress had some kind of huge spellbook with her that she was casting powerful magic from. Now, where have we seen a giant powerful book before? Anyway, Gradriel now resolves to go to the Black Forest Tower and rescue her sister, but there's one other thing we can do first. And for that, we'll need to head outside to the palace courtyard, so that'll be down a few floors. Right out this way. And the gentleman here from the Cardo Knights will tell you that Justin has set up a proving ground in the castle dungeons, where he summoned a monster at the bottom, and if anyone can go down and beat up the monster, they will get a reward. Now, we like rewards, so let's venture into the castle dungeon and see if we can't conquer the proving grounds. Now, if you don't take any side trips to look for treasure, this is a very simple dungeon. Running right down the middle, there's pretty much a straight shot to the bottom floor. And since our inventory is pretty packed and we don't really need to go hunting for treasure, let's just take that shortest possible path, and we should be there soon enough. However, one floor up from the bottom, we run into a new enemy type, the Geist Armor. And as you can see, they have an attack where they jump up and throw a magic orb down that summons a spike from the ground. That seems to be their bread and butter attack. Oh hey, the Golden Gauntlet. That, I believe, is the best attack-enhancing item. So we'll keep that. That critical move that they like to do, they just enlarge their sword to a huge size and Hassan chop it in front of themselves. We've been lucky about avoiding that so far, but that will not last forever. Like so. And you can see that puts kind of a hurt on you. That Golden Gauntlet is a nice item, though. That's worth throwing in an E+1, so we can make that a little more durable for future usage. And now that we've got a Golden Gauntlet, we don't really need the silver one anymore, so I'll just leave that behind. And it would appear that the trial monster that Just and I summoned is a garden variety ghoul, albeit a fairly high level one. But it's just a ghoul. A little tougher than your average ghoul, but really it doesn't have anything that we haven't seen before. The 100 Claw Slap is still a pain in the ass for trying to get Shoryukens in. And you always have to mind the detachable head. Well, we've proven ourselves and gotten a level in the bargain. But what will be our reward? Ah, the latest piece of fairy candy. This is the Trust Drop. And what the Trust Drop does is it will allow Arya to occasionally drop us a potion during combat. In addition to the Geist Armors, we can now encounter Slave Woods as random encounters in this dungeon. Enough with the pizza cutter. And there you see the Trust Drop in action. That swirly potion, if I recall correctly, prevents you from being stunned when you take hits. You still take the full damage, but you don't get hit stunned. Which can be handy if you have an enemy that likes to try and stun lock you. Well, with the wandering slave wood defeated, we have got a straight shot to the end of the dungeon. And that will wrap things up for today. Thank you for watching, everyone. Glad to have you along. And next time on Princess Crown, we will head off to the Black Forest Tower. See you then.